Hi, it's Dorothy Guining with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm participating in the YouTube collaboration Back to the Future. We are assigned to draw inspiration from the 1985 sci-fi comedy classic Back to the Future. I'm going to put links to all the other participants below, so be sure to check them out. So here's what I'm going to be doing today. That's me in 1985, and I'm going to be showing you how to create a very simple classic layout, but I'm also going to share some journaling tips, how to overcome scrapbook writing block. Anyway, I won't do all that writing on camera, but I will share some tips. Here's what I'm going to be using. I have material from Cartabella's Game Night Collection, or Family Night Collection, I think it's called. And I also have one 12 by 12 sheet of lined paper, and that's from the Scenic Route collection from Paige Evans. So here's what I have on my desk. I prepared that frame style foundation in advance with 3 sheets of paper. I only gutted one of them because I didn't want it to be bumpy when I write on the front of that page. And I also have a tutorial on my channel where I create a frame style foundation, so I will link that up below as well. Here's all the papers I have as well as the photo. I don't use it all, but that's what I pre-selected in advance. And I also have a sticker sheet, which I don't use as well, but I do draw inspiration from it. I have a pile of scraps. I'm going to do some punch art later on. And I have a tray full of bits and bobs like letters, enamel dots, stuff like that. And in that pink basket, I have some basic tools, basically a few flower punches, a leaf punch, and a few circle punches. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a layered photo mat for that large photo, and that's going to go in the bottom right-hand corner of the page. And I'm hesitating first between the black and that peacock blue mat. What I end up going with the peacock blue, but what I want to say about the selection of paper is this is me in 1985, but it's going to go in my 2020 current album. It's basically going to be a reflection of me 35 years ago from me 35 years later. So the paper I'm using, I kind of selected this retro look. However, this photo in my 1985 album, a future album, by the way, I haven't done it yet, I'm going to be treating that photo on a more classic basis. It's a classic graduation photo, and I will treat the photo differently. This one, though, it's kind of a retro, funky look because I'm looking back. Anyway, as you can see, I've cut up a whole bunch of pieces of paper to create a layered photo mat. I want to make an impact because otherwise on this page, I'm just going to have a little bit of embellishing and a whole lot of writing. I am putting measurements for all this on the screen in case you want to follow along. And again, this page can stand alone without writing or without all the writing that I am going to put on the page. However, there certainly is room for it. And the fact that I selected a lined paper for a background paper makes it very, very easy to do that. There's other kind of papers as well that you can use if you want to do a lot of writing on a background page. There are graph paper background papers, there are ledger papers. All of that makes for good background paper if you want to do a lot of journaling. So I showed you the sticker sheet, which I ended up not using, and the ephemera, same thing. And what I ended up going for are these punches here. So I'm punching out flowers in 2 different sizes. On the flip side of that paper that has all the heads on it, it's kind of like this text print. And what I'm going to do in the larger flowers is create these vinyl albums in the middle. And basically that was inspired by the sticker sheet. There just wasn't enough to put in the middle of all my flowers. They're really, really easy to make. Basically, I punched out that black circle, 1-inch circles, and the smaller circles, I did that in 1/2-inch circles with a hole in the middle. So as you can see, I made a bunch of flowers, and I also took that leaf punch. That one there is from Stampin' Up. I use it all the time, and I cut out a whole bunch of leaves. So basically what I'm doing here is creating an embellishment cluster with a bunch of flowers and leaves. Really, really easy to do. It's something I actually often do. What's different here is putting those vinyl albums in the middle of the flowers. So what I'm doing now is simply creating the cluster. So I start with the larger flowers, come in with the smaller flowers, And then I finish it off with those leaves. And I'm going to do the very same thing in the top corner, the top left, and that is where I will be putting my title, 35 years ago. So what else can I say? In a moment, I want to talk about journaling because most people I know who have trouble journaling, it's often because number one, they think they have nothing interesting to say, and number two, they're worried about messing up their page. So in a moment, what I'm going to do is share with you a few ideas on the technique on how to actually get it onto your page. And after that, what I'll do is share with you a few motivational tips, hopefully, to get you going scrapbooking on at least, or I meant to say writing on at least some of your pages. So as you can see, my title's down, my embellishment clusters are down, and my plan is to kind of wrap writing all around that photo where I'm showing you right now. Now there's a couple ways you can do that because that's a lot of space to be journaling. Now obviously I could write the entire thing in pencil, then write over it in a permanent pen, and then erase the pencil marks. I could also take a piece of vellum or tracing paper, do my journaling around. That way I could calculate the spacing and then copy it onto the page. Here's what I'm going to do. I scribbled notes on a Hilroy notebook. There's ripped, like I crossed out things and everything. I just wrote it all down and I plan to wing it. It's probably not the best way to do it if you're nervous, but that's what I ended up doing. Anyway, now what I'm going to do is share with you a few writing tips. Like I said before, most people I know anyway who have problems writing, they fear making mistakes and they think they have nothing to say. Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I'm narrowing it down to 3 things because I could talk to forever about this. Number one, everybody has a story to tell. And even if you think it's not important or interesting, it is to someone else. Trust me, especially these days with COVID-19, we are living through crazy times. Number two, I want you to ask yourself if you're having trouble. If you had the choice between 2 scrapbooks from your great-great-grandmother, one of them had simply beautiful pages with photos, but the other one had her story. She wrote in it. She wrote what made her happy, what made her sad. She wrote about her daily routine. Which one would you pick? I know which one I'd pick. I'd go for the one with the words, with her story and with her voice. By adding writing, you have the ability to transform your beautiful scrapbook into a treasured family heirloom. So think about that. You don't have to do it on every page, but it is important, I think anyway, to add your voice from time to time in your albums. And finally, if you're having trouble writing, if you don't know where to start, take a notebook like I did and just write down anything about your photo for 15 minutes. Just write. There are no mistakes. Just go for it. And after 15 minutes, you're going to find you have something to say. Once you get that down, copy it, edit it, put it on your page. Tell your story. Trust me, it's interesting to somebody else. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Scrapbooking Quebec if you haven't already. Also, be sure to check out all the other participants. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.